Hey Internet, Steve, 1,000-year home, so welcome aboard. So let's see, I'm doing rafters now. It's the same day that I did this little gem here, this stained glass window. It's actual a structure support designed to carry a load, but I'm all done with it. I still have to do some outside work on it and, caulk it all up and double caulk it and triple caulk it and all that good stuff. But what I want to do is I want to lay out the joists that I need in a stagger because I want to know how 4 by 8 sheets of drywall will fit in there. And if I do my work right and I don't have to do all of this, I'll be grateful. But every 4 feet or less should be a joist. And that'll go up, or a support rather, up to a rafter, and a rafter will support the roof while I pour concrete on the top of that. Once it hardens, it'll have its own shell and rigidity around it. But I don't want a lot of deflection, nor do I want it to crush these Conexes. They're super strong, where they're built super strong, but people say, don't bury them because the walls will cave in. I suppose that's true. The walls aren't designed to retain a lot of inward reflection. It's downward pressure. Let me go ahead and bring in some joists and just stage them out, and so we can all get a feel together. I'll probably speed walk through that. All right. There's one. Right, 4 foot right to the wall, right to the door. Perfect. Once I put 8 by 8 post in there, I could make up any slack. Let me look here. 4 foot exactly. All right. So sheet of drywall, I have to jog you around there. All right, let's talk about this for a minute. Alright, so the joist layout for the ceiling, supports for the ceilings lay out just right. So let me go ahead and I'm going to do the stained glass one first, maybe. Alright. Alright, it's the end of the day, the sun is going down. I need to make a dinner. I've got one rafter in, 3 uprights in. I'm pausing because there's a change in height on this side that I didn't have in the bedroom or the bathroom. Everything was linear, but this goes up and down a little bit. So you need to think about that. I completed the The stained glass header is ready to go. And I've got most of the foil pulled except for 3 more sections right there. So I'm going to call that a good day, a day well done. Nice full day. All of it was productive. I didn't have any downtime, so that felt good. All right, Internet, this is Steve calling it quits for a day. I'm going to wash up and get ready, make myself a little dinner, I believe. Appreciate you driving along with me while I put in the rafters and finish up my bedroom portion of my tiny home. Once I have that and I can live in something, my standard of living will go way up. Good morning, everybody. This is Steve at 1000-Year Home. So getting a little bit of rain out here in Texas, and I thought it'd be good to do an update of all of the window designs that I'm doing, so that if you all copy this design, you will be confident that your windows don't leak. Now I'm in a dry-ish environment. I get about 4 to 5 inches of rain a month throughout the year. Some months I don't get any rain. During droughts, it can be as low as 10% of that. And I am in a drought, so I haven't had big water. I haven't had like 10 inches of rainfall in a single night. So, but the Conexes that I had came in watertight. There was some damage on the roofs where I see some puddling, and I will go ahead and skim coat those so that the rust doesn't eat those, even though I'm going to end up pouring concrete. The thing about concrete is it's a lot like porcelain plate. And if you leave one spot on the concrete that's dipped down, so I've seen guys throw stones in to save on the concrete. Well, they're not. They're putting a stress joint in there, and that's where the cracks will start. So you really need your bottom for concrete to be flat and packed and all that. But this is a discussion about water, right? So a couple of different things, and I've showed this before. Let me rotate. So I'm in the middle of a drought, and I haven't solved for water yet, but I am capturing water in this manifold system here. I still need to spray paint this PVC and change this up a little bit. These are all full now, and they're full on just about an inch of rainfall on the top of this Conex. I have a slight angle, you can't even see it, trying to drive all the rain to that gutter, but realistically I should capture both sides. What I've decided is I'm going to cut this pipe and I'm going to tee off of it so that I can add additional, these are just soap and I'm going to use them for foundation, but I'd like to rinse them out. So I'm going to add a tee on each one of these, probably with a screw in, so that this, I can remove these as I need and pull them out and put a different one in. I think that's what I'll just do. I'll put a PVC screw in on that. This is still semi-temporary. You see some of my supports are just cedar. Nothing fancy here, but the whole design here is to keep me from having to bail water for my horse. Alright, and this gutter is put up with magnets and duct tape, and 150-pound magnets is what I'm using. So can recommend that. There's no holes drilled. I didn't have to damage the Conex. I didn't have to change the water tightness. They're still watertight. So let's go in and take a look at the things that I've done here. So yesterday I went ahead and installed this window, right? And is it watertight? Did I do a good job? I'm gonna say maybe. I don't see any leakage on the ground. Everything that's there looks a little old. The way I sanded it, it already had, I sanded it to look old, but that looks wet. So I'm thinking that maybe I didn't caulk the top well enough. And that's the way these windows are when I first install them. I think if you were super critical and even more focused than me, you wouldn't have any leakage. For example, you can see that these, when I first was doing them, you can see that I had some leakage in. I'm going to have to sand out. But indeed, there's no leakage here on this window that's current from the rain. And that's true all the way through. All of these windows are now watertight. But this one that I just installed yesterday, I'm thinking maybe it's not. Maybe it's not watertight. So I have a final layer of Protecto Wrap that I wanted to put on, and I didn't get around to it last night around this side. And I think I'll chase that with that, just to make sure that it's not running in. And it looks like I can see some water right there. So you'll have to inspect these a couple of times. And I've already have 2 layers of Protecto Wrap in here, but this final one, it's caulked in there, but this final one is necessary. I always put it on. I just ran out of time last night and light. So I can see the water is coming down and following the bottom and then chasing in. I mean, the water's just, it's coming down this side, following in. That Protecto Wrap came loose. It was a little old, so I might cut that out and redo that. And I think chasing it is the right answer to prevent any leakage. Now, the same process here didn't leak at all. It's much drier. I don't see any wraparound, but look, the space is larger on the header, right? So I could see where the water came, but it didn't chase back in. This is a little smaller, so maybe that's the problem there. And then on the very top of the Conexes, you can see that there's a little stick on top, and that one's getting roughed up, but there's a little stick wrapped in foil that's designed as the water comes off the roof, that it helps shoo it away a little bit from the windows. Just a smidgen. Just a smidgen. You can see it right there real good. And that's just a furring strip wrapped in aluminum foil. It's a temporary deal until I pour concrete. So, you know, you can't build a 1,000-year house and have any leakage. Any. It has to be zero leakage. You can't go, you know, it's just a little moist, or no. It has to be zero leakage. So that's my goal on each window, and I'm finding I do have to follow up just like that after a rainy night. And that was a brand new install. The other ones are pretty much done. And that's before earth bag is in there, so I know I'll have zero leakage. But I shoot for zero leakage during the temporary installation, because then I'll know it's permanently done. And this is the advantage of those folks who get to weld, and I didn't, but people who get to weld will have a tighter waterproof bead all the way around the window that I do not have. So that's the one drawback of using the wood. But I wasn't allowed to weld, so you know, I'm way off grid, and I'm not willing to throw sparks into this brush at all. And even though it rained now, it looks wet. It's not. I'm way behind on. I'm in a full up, hard on drought. And the trees that I have around me that survive droughts, these junipers and cedars and yopons, all of those have oils on the leaves, and you get fire up into them, and that's a serious matter. So I'm to wood framing around the windows, but it does work. And this was a good morning. It feels great. A good follow-up. I'm glad you joined me. Be a quick video today as we double-check the after the rain to see if there's leakage. Not much. It would be what I would say. I would say that was just what absorbed through the wood, and nothing was leaking in there. But I want to shoo the water away so it doesn't absorb through the wood at all. And as soon as that dries up, I have 3 or 4 more days of rain. But as soon as it dries up, I'll chase it with another layer of Protecto Wrap, as well as maybe sometimes I use the Flex Seal. I'll spray Flex Seal, and you know, and then ultimately it'll be earth bagged, and that'll add a 15-inch layer out, pushing the rain 15 inches, and keep the rain off to the top of the headers. That's my problem, is once the rain gets into the top of the header, and it just binds every little crevice and capillary actions it, so as it's supposed to. But for you as a builder, I'm telling you, the water tightness is a serious deal. And if you watched me do this on yesterday's, I spent a great deal of time. Oh, too dark. I spent a great deal of time waterproofing that bad boy. And there's already 3 layers of Protecto Wrap. I wrapped around the edge, then I wrapped around the boards that pass through. I did 2 layers on the top. I caulked, and then I wrapped again. And the bottom line is, I am pretty sure that that's moisture. I don't have a moisture meter for my wood, but I am thinking that that's moisture that is absorbed through the wood, and I don't want that. So, but the rest of it looks good. I mean, there's not a hard drip. There's not anything, you know. So I'm close, but I'm not spot on, and I need to be spot on. All right, like, subscribe, follow me around. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. Bye.